Crystal Palace 3-0, albeit both sides rested players, but Crystal Palace rested a lot. You beat them 3-0, then 4 days later you're getting beat by them at Old Trafford's not looking good.
No, I think that they're in a terrible place, Manchester United. And I think that it's fair to say that they're sleepwalking into a crisis. Like, they are playing so badly, they're devoid of everything that you need to be a good, functioning, successful Premier League team. They're lacking in personality, they're lacking in belief. There seems to be real disparity between...
Lacking in a captain.
They're certainly lacking in an identity.
I know you like Bruno, and this isn't me digging you about Bruno, but when I think of him as a player, I separate it from being a leader. There's nothing screams leader about him for me.
Yeah, I think that's probably fair, and I think it's very difficult for me to contradict that with the results that have been happening. I mean, they've lost back-to-back league games at home.
To Brighton and Palace.
To Brighton and to Crystal Palace. Like, where do you draw the line? When does it become unacceptable?
The line should be drawn.
That's it, isn't it? And they are now on the cusp of sort of breaking records. They are making history. You know, you have to go back to 1989 for the last time that Manchester United lost 4 of their opening 7 league games. But that was Sir Alex Ferguson. You know, this is different.
Oh, DJ got a bit excited there. No, it is different.
This is different. So I think that there's a real problem for Manchester United. And I think that there needs to be a conversation of it's not Erik Ten Hag needs to be sacked, but it's an educated and considered conversation. Is Erik Ten Hag the right man to turn it around? Is Erik Ten Hag capable of turning this around?
Surely with Erik Ten Hag, and I agree, I think he's on the edge of sort of being in real trouble for United, but surely you can't take away from the stuff that's going on off the field.
Yeah, that's true.
It's so much. I mean, I've never ever seen a United side have so much crisis back to back to back to back. And it's one thing trying to sort out the on-field issues, but then you've got all these off-field issues as well that the manager, who's the face of the club, has to somehow deal with.
I completely agree. I think if you're trying to find reasons why it's going so badly for Erik Ten Hag and for Manchester United, I think you need to look no further than the obvious. I think there is, you know, the talk of the takeover, the talk of Anthony, the talk of Mason Greenwood, the talk of Jadon Sancho. Yeah, it's not difficult to say why these things are happening, but equally, a manager's responsibility is to navigate that. And a manager's responsibility is to navigate a fairly rocky terrain.
This is more than rocky, though, Mr. Jennings. This is more than rocky. You've got a player going through the issues that Anthony went through, but then stays in Brazil for a couple of weeks to try and sort out those issues. You don't plan for this. Do you know what I mean? You've got a Jadon Sancho issue. This is difficult.
But there's two ways of looking at this then. So yes, on one level, I think you are correct. On one level, I think that there are explanations as to why it's gone so wrong for Erik Ten Hag. But on another level, I think Erik Ten Hag is the architect of his own downfall. I think Erik Ten Hag is making bad decisions. So let's focus on his contribution rather than the environment within which he's working. Is it good, astute management to put Harry Maguire up front when you're trailing and at home to Crystal Palace? Is it good, astute, intelligent management to bring Donny van der Beek in? Donny van der Beek, by the way.
What's he saying to the owners, though? Remember Jose Mourinho did the same thing.
Yeah, he's not Jose Mourinho, though.
I know he's not.
He's not Jose Mourinho.
I know he's not, but what's he saying to the owners? Sometimes you do that to say to the owners, 1 second, this is all we've got. We have nothing. You've given me nothing up front. That's what they do, don't they, managers?
No.
It's silly, but they do.
But he can't make. That's not the message that conveys at all. The message that he's potentially accidentally conveying is the man that they spent 70 million quid on that he wanted is not the right man if they're having to put centre half up front. It's not like they haven't got a striker. They've got this geezer Højlund, who they spent a lot of money on, who their fans are very excited about, who they think is going to be the next big thing. So they have had an opportunity. It's Erik Ten Hag's decision to put an out-of-favour centre-half who's just been stripped of the captaincy up front. It's Erik Ten Hag's decision to put a player who they deem not good enough to be in their Champions League squad on the pitch to help turn the tide against a Crystal Palace team that weren't going to ever concede.
When are we going to start saying, okay, the players are responsible as well here?
Absolutely.
Let's
say it now.
Mason Mount's come in for big money. Yes, he's had his injuries this season, but he's done nothing when he's been fit. Marcus Rashford has been useless for Manchester United this season as well. When are we going to start pointing at some of these players? Jadon Sancho decides they've down tools.
No doubt. No doubt we should point that out now. So when Erik Ten Hag made quite a bold decision when they're chasing a game and they took off Mason Mount and Marcus Rashford, I was in favour of it. It didn't leave me scratching my head. I thought the two players haven't played well enough. They haven't done enough to deserve their place on the pitch. No one has a God-given right to play for Manchester United. It doesn't matter whether you've arrived from Chelsea for a lot of money or you're a Mancunian lad who has the hearts of a lot of fans in the Stretford end. Nobody has a God-given right to play. Nobody has the opportunity to play without deserving it. It's a strict meritocracy. it makes sense to take them off. But it doesn't make sense to take them off if the answer is Harry Maguire up front and Donny van der Beek in the middle. So the issue isn't pulling them away. Yes, Mason Mount hasn't been good enough. Look, we've got to be careful. He's been injured and he's only just arrived.
No, he's not been good enough. You don't have to be careful with anything. He's not been good enough.
He's not.
He's an England
He's not been good enough yet.
England international, Chelsea's Player of the Year, back-to-back seasons. He's not been good enough.
Yeah, but he's also been injured and whatever. And Marcus Rashford has definitely not been good enough and certainly needs to elevate it. But the most striking thing, losing to Palace at Old Trafford for Manchester United, their fans booing them off the pitch. I'm not shocked. I don't think there's anything shocking in that result. I don't think there's anything shocking in that performance. I sort of anticipated it happening. So
really?
Yeah, I did. In my predictions...
I mean, it's not being shocked and is anticipating.
No, in my predictions, I predicted a Crystal Palace victory. Wrong scoreline, but I predicted a Crystal Palace victory. So I definitely saw it coming. I think they are so beatable, and when they come up against a team like Crystal Palace, and you think about the attributes of Palace. So firstly, on the break, right, you've got Eze, who's a real threat. And when you think about how Manchester United are going to try and cope with him, they probably can't because they don't really have any kind of leadership, any kind of cohesion. Look at the goal they conceded. Look at the ridiculous nature of that goal. Let's talk about the goal. Do you know what, Addy? We can use that goal. So I was going to talk about this in a different way, but I think if we just explore the goal that they conceded, let's just talk about the moments leading up to that and the way that Manchester United dealt with it. I think it's a microcosm for who Manchester United are. You've got Jordan Ayew going nowhere. Amrabat decides to foul him for absolutely no reason. Does exactly what Ayew would want. So, okay, foolish. Amrabat experienced. Foolish. Free kick. So, great, you've got an opportunity to sort this out now. Casemiro and Højlund, two big signings. Both have an opportunity to clear the ball. Neither really wants to. The ball goes all the way across the area to Anderson, centre-half. Okay, great finish. But keeper should be saving that, in my opinion. So then there's a keeper. So we talk about Ten Hag and the relationship with the keeper.
You think Onana should be saving that?
Yeah, I think he should. I think it was fairly central.
I'm tough on
I think it was fairly central.
Good finish.
Great finish.
Can't say great finish, then keeper should be saving it.
No, you
one
could.
or the other.
No. There's such a thing. Of course you can be. Of course it can be both.
It's a great finish.
It's a great strike. It's a great finish, but it's savable.
Okay. Everything's savable.
But it's savable. And I think a better keeper would save that. And crucially, the second that goal went in, at no point were Palace ever going to relinquish that lead. It was never going to happen.
It felt like like United of old, where you look at the Fergie time and they're going to score, nothing.
Did Gahey or Anderson come to that ever look troubled by Rashford at any point in that game? Did you ever see a moment where Mark Gahey looked out of his depth against Marcus Rashford? No. Did you ever see Jacob Anderson the wrong side of Marcus Rashford?
No. Good defenders, by the way, those two though.
Oh, no doubt, Addy, no doubt.
Very solid.
But you need, again, I think you're walking a difficult line here if you start going, they're good defenders. This is Manchester United.
No. You keep saying that. I've stopped saying that. You keep doing this. This is Manchester United. This isn't Manchester United.
But the standards...
You're thinking of United when we were young.
No, I'm not. I'm thinking of United last year.
Even that team wasn't that great.
But they went 13 months without losing at home.
That's changed.
It's changed in 2 weeks because of the ridiculous nature. Like, it's a fortnight ago that 16 days ago, that result, that statistic was still intact. 16 days. 16 days later, they lost 2 at home to very beatable opposition. We've just seen Brighton go get slapped up against Villa. They've gone to Old Trafford and totally taken the mick. They've gone to Old Trafford. Lallana stepping over the ball. Danny Welbeck finishing it with his weaker foot.
And celebrating. It's
laughable. Then you got Pascal Gross sitting down some of the most expensive lauded defenders.
Oh, sat him down his backside. Yeah, he did. Yeah.
I think... Look, I don't think it's wrong to have a conversation about Ten Hag. That's not me saying Ten Hag needs to go, but I think... it's a fair and legitimate question to go, is Ten Hag capable of getting him out of trouble?
No.
Agreed.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.